It makes me wonder when it was built. So it must have been built maybe mid-1900s possibly. Stuff drops off here. Okay. I don't know which way we're supposed to go here. See a little staging area here, and you can clearly see back there. Those are like the vaults that go inside the mausoleum. Obviously they're not used right now, but walking away from that, we have a rear section here on this one. There is no back section for that side, but this side has it on, looks like on both sides. And again, it appears that probably it was put in sometime in the mid-1900s. Most people were born in the early 1900s and then passed anywhere from in the 2000s to the mid-1900s. I did say born in the early 1900s, right? That's what I meant. And nothing on the side here, and then here's our public mausoleum here. We're going to hit that in a upcoming episode. And we'll do probably the other outdoor mausoleum in that episode as well. That might be part 3, that might be part 2. I don't really know. I'm probably going to film it today no matter what. This little interesting courtyard area here in front of the front side of this section of the outdoor mausoleum. Incredible design work. And here is some poke. If you're familiar with poke salad, that's it. And I think at this point, seeing that we got purple berries, it's probably poisonous. It's always poisonous, but it's sometimes more poisonous than at other times of the year. So yeah, eat at your own risk. But poke salad is something that's been eaten for quite a while, and that is poke, if you didn't know. Alright, let's go ahead. We're going to walk down. It does look like it's lit up at night. Not exactly sure of the reasoning behind that. This place does close at sunset every single day, and the doors are locked. So don't try to get a nighttime view, but oh cool. So this is actually our frontmost section here. Let's see, Robert Driftmeyer in 1921 to 1986, and Eleanor in 1925 to 1996. Let's see what we got here. Bedford Lewis, 1899 to 1968, and is it Louise and Lewis? Oh, Lois, that's what that is. Louise and Lois, very interesting. 1909 to 1999. Some interesting, not really damage, but probably erosion. That looks like it might be damage there. And this looks like, I don't know, it might have just sheared off and fallen. But really cool. And then we'll go in maybe that side here on one of the upcoming episodes. What is this? Oh, there's just a big piece of styrofoam back there for no apparent reason. And once again, I've covered myself in spider webs by going down this really cool looking pathway, but I guess in a place like this, you know, it's so huge that there's probably, it's probably mostly empty most of the time, no matter how many people are really here. So yeah, makes me like the place kind of more. It's like, as many people as I've seen, it's right now, it's just, I can't see a single other living person, and you know, it's a really big place. So pretty cool. And directly over here is our bell tower. You can see the outdoor mausoleum over there. It's a little bit more difficult to see the bell tower through the trees. But we'll go ahead and I think we're going to go around and pick up the rest of the mausoleums, the private mausoleums first though. So we're going to cut a little bit here so I can get to that road without expending another 10 plus minutes of making you all watch me. Wow. See, again, it looks like drainage. That's what I'm saying. Like, either this is just drainage to keep this area from flooding, or at one time it was kind of intended to be maybe partially flooded. I don't think that's the case. I'm assuming I'm probably wrong. I just think it kind of looks slightly intentioned that way. So just merely a random guess that is probably incorrect. And I cannot imagine how old these willow trees must be. They must have been around near the creation of this place. And I don't know what this is. I think it's just part of an old decorative planter. Nothing really else around the trees. And another interesting, not really decorative area, but something that's been built up over the years that is something to do with drainage. You can see the drain going down there, and then there's just massive cement and rocks that have been dumped here over the years. And I don't know, it might just be to build it up from erosion or whatever. Kind of strange, but I guess it makes sense, and you never know what the techniques are historically. All right, let's cut. Okay, we're coming up on another thing. I don't really know what it is. It looks like they're doing some restoration work here, but another very interesting landscaping area. So this isn't a mausoleum. I don't know what part this will be in anyway. Definitely not going to walk on top of that thing. But I thought it was really interesting. And just another kind of bizarre area. I wouldn't really call it bizarre. It's really honestly cool. And not incredibly unusual. You do see landscaping areas like this from time to time in cemeteries. You can see there that the road is closed off, so it's a good thing that we're walking. And looks to be just a little stone gazebo here for decorative purposes. And something huge, though, is sticking out of the road here. So I'm kind of interested to see that. That doesn't sound like a real bird. Wow. The stonework here is really interesting. See very small, almost mosaic tiles. And then we see 1934 Moon Knoll. And just incredible, all these tiny, tiny little stones up here that have been placed in the cement. And either they're cleaning it up really well, or not many have fallen over the years. See that we have some wood benches here, and there is some evidence of people maybe carving their names in. Obviously, this is probably original. Wow, look at this. This huge stone has been, you can see this stone bridge here. It's really, really amazing. I don't know if the hole goes all the way through. You're gonna have to go and check out the other side. You can see you could actually wade yourself underneath the road. That probably would not be a fun time, but how cool. You can see that they're clearly doing some restoration work. I'll stay clear of that, stay outside the caution tape here, but I did want to kind of see if we can get a glimpse of what they're doing. Okay, so the hole doesn't go all the way down. They're just replacing a good chunk of the road there. And then we can kind of follow this creek along and see a little bit of a view underneath. Something right here. It looks like maybe the top of a memorial. I can't tell though. They've definitely done some work here in the past. And there's a massive tree there that was cut, but there's tons of little like stones in the creek that are just natural that could have definitely been something that resembled a gravestone and not actually a gravestone. And I don't know if maybe historically there was another decorative bridge here, or if it's just meant for you to walk down to this one here. However, it's still just really cool, but it's just a stairway to nothing. Yeah, I don't see any evidence whatsoever. You see the stairway behind me there, and then just down to the creek bed, and nothing on the other side. So, a little bit of a mystery. Again, really cool. Kind of looks like some ancient ruins. Not incredibly ancient, obviously. Probably from the mid-1800s, maybe the mid-1900s, but I love the work. I think it's a cool style. I think it kind of instantly gives some of that age to a place, and looks to be maybe associated with the gazebo back there. You can see we're coming up on a little, I don't know if it doesn't look like a planter. It looks like something originally was on top of it. Maybe a planter was on top, but as you can clearly tell, this stonework is precisely the same. Okay, let's keep going this way. I see some more staircases. There's a hole on the top of this hill. I don't think it goes down very far, but I want to see if it's something. No, it's not. Okay, it's just a small little divot. And do we take the historic bridge and risk it? I don't think it's actually that dangerous. We're gonna go over it and see what happens. As long as there's no signs telling us to stay off, I think we're gonna clear this place. Actually, of all the really large cemeteries that I've visited in the United States from coast to coast, this does seem to be the least paranoid. As in, they have the least amount of signs telling you, don't do this, don't do that, just like, and not that they're completely devoid of rules. They're not at all. But they're not overly paranoid with those rules. This place is intended to be visited, intended to be enjoyed. Clearly, a lot of landscaping and artwork has been placed here to make it an enjoyable place for people to visit, no matter what your intentions are in terms of your visit, whether it's just maybe to go out and get a little bit of exercise, or enjoy the beautiful nature, to visit a loved one, or to see some of this incredible artwork that's been installed here over the centuries. So, an amazing place. Again, I don't even know what part we're on right now. We're just gonna kind of randomly film. I do believe we're coming up on the next very large Catholic grotto. It is confusing looking in the sense that it doesn't necessarily look like a grotto. It does look like a grotto, but when you get in, there's evidence that it's been used for burial, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's like a base stone that has been placed there for the original artwork that was probably like a depiction of Mary or Jesus, or both. And this is actually, looks like, I feel like this is a fountain. I said that really weird. I feel like this is a fountain that never got the waterworks installed. So it seems like the water would run off this big shell, right, and then fall down and collect here, and then maybe we get pumped up somehow, but I see, again, no evidence. Oh, some trash. Pick up some trash. Then we have Stephen Vincent here. Oh, it looks like maybe some local musician. 1965 to 1995. And this must be, yeah, okay, this is his work right here. Be strong no matter how deep the entrenched wrong, no matter how hard the battle, no matter how long, faint not. Fight on, for tomorrow comes the song. Stephen P. Vincent. So it does say author at the bottom. I'm not sure if they're saying that he also authored books, or he was just the author of that particular song, or if that's a song at all. Maybe it's poetry. I don't know. I don't really know much about that person. I've never heard of them, but it's always cool to find some of the local artists and celebrities, especially historically. I know 1995 is not incredibly historic, but still somebody that was an important part of this area. And you can see this is the Northeast Indiana AIDS Memorial here. So perhaps he too passed from HIV/AIDS, and that's unfortunate, you know. And the fight continues. But what a beautiful area, just incredible. And you know, it's neat to see because it seems like it should be this way, you know. Places should be made like this to be beautiful and not just, you know, I know sometimes it makes sense, you know, if you're out in a little country graveyard just to do the straight rows, and that's awesome. You know, that's good for those people. But I feel like when you get to places like this, there should be some attempt to make them into public spaces as well. It's so much better that anyone can get, you know, the benefit of this, whether living or dead, and that it's a welcome place to come and be a part of history and walk among it. And here's another AIDS memorial here, a little sign here. Very cool. Incredibly well done. So again, I'm just going to have to occasionally do these. Thank you all for joining me on 539. I don't know what part this is. I know that we've filmed probably at least 4 parts today alone. I've been here for like a couple hours now. I've got a couple hours left until I have to leave and the gate, is locked. However, there's so much left to see. We'll probably be coming back to this place a few different times. And again, to those people who are into other type of episodes, we will be sprinkling other episodes throughout this series. It will not be a straight series. It's rare that probably from here on out I'm going to do straight series. I'll probably do like a couple in a row and break it up with 1 or 2 others, just to make sure that there's a good variety on the channel. We're coming up here on a little bridge area, and it looks like we have a historical sign here of some sort. I'm wondering when I've already used up 1 camera for the day, not the memory card, the batteries unfortunately, but I don't know how long this memory card's gonna last. We have Jordan Crossing here. It looks like it's just a section with some Bible verses and a little bit of, oh, it does have some, okay. Historical burial site and final resting place of our African American ancestors in Fort Wayne. In a history when we as a people, even in internment, suffered from cruel indignity and intolerance and segregation. And so, I'm not sure I should do this, but I want to do it in a way. I'd rather do it in a way where I can honor these people, and we'll come back. I kind of feel like in a section like that, the problem with just walking through is that you don't honor, you know, what the section's about. So we're gonna do some history on that one, and we'll come back and do probably a full episode on just that African American section there. So that's really cool. I'm glad to see that that's there, and we'll definitely do probably a whole episode on just that section, and maybe go over some of those people's history and their importance in this area, and a little bit more into why such things are so important. Interesting. What is that? Must have been just a natural stone that got covered up. Wow, I think I'm in the right place. I'm almost lost. Probably should actually pay attention to what I'm filming instead of throwing the microphone in front of the camera, but I believe that's a Bible up there with some, looks like golden urns. Oh look, there's actually kind of what I predicted before. I'm not gonna go on here because it clearly looks like the cemetery workers do not want you to do this, but kind of what I was saying about being slightly afraid before. You can see that this bridge here has actually had, yeah, wow, that's interesting. You can see why. It's detached. It's not actually So little bit dangerous. Clearly it has some issues over the years, maybe with some flooding. You can see where the water line has made its way up in the past, or at least erosion damage. You can kind of see the where the wet line is, where it's been recently, where it's soaked in. So yeah, it might have been just some recent damage, because we've had a few incredibly large storms here recently in the surrounding area, just kind of the northeast Indiana areas, but it's really been rocked with some heavy storms. And another place, you know, has so many massive trees, and it might be the sheer amount of massive trees that has helped them in this case, by slowing the wind just enough to prevent any of them from falling, which is, I mean, absolutely incredible and very lucky. And I haven't really seen any evidence of storm damage here, but like I said, I know for a fact that it went right through here, and there was massive damage all around in the surrounding area in the city. And I don't know if I think that's the creek there. I think I have to wait for a bridge. I got myself hemmed in.